Hi everybody, it is time for one of my favorite videos of the year, which is my annual bullet journal setup. Now, I'm going to be doing some different stuff in my bullet journal this next year. If you've seen my recent videos on my planner setup that's upcoming, I'm not going to be using this for daily planning as much as just for daily brain dumping and some other things. But we'll get more into that when we get into my January setup, which will be a separate video. In this sense, I want to still get it set up for the year and with a couple of things in it, just some general reference stuff, so on and so forth. I'm not going to be living the bullet journal only lifestyle anymore, and I'm fine with that. What I would like is to keep my entire year in this one notebook, because I think that would be really goddamn rad. So let's talk real quick about the theme of this bullet journal and of this yearly setup in particular. Loose botanicals, not loose as in loose drawings, but just a loose theme around botanicals. And I'm going to continue that this year because, to be perfectly honest with you, I like drawing them and it's my fucking bullet journal. The other thing I want to do, at the end of the year, I really started leaning into using quotes from movies that I love. Well, this year I decided I want to use quotes from my favorite bands and singers, etc. So every month I'll pick a different one, and that'll be whatever quote or quotes I use in my setups. I'll talk more about what I'm doing in terms of the yearly setup in a second, but first let's look at supplies. The journal I'm going to be using this year is the Passion Journal. I actually did a review on this way back, I think mid-year, and it was a real toss-up between this one and the Scribbles That Matter notebook for my last bullet journal. Scribbles That Matter won, but I've been excited to use this one, especially because it really looks nice with the other planners that I've got for this year. You know, aesthetics. They're everything. This is dot grid. It is the medium size, which is equivalent to a B5, which is my favorite size of bullet journal now because it has all the room for activities. And this is the Seaside Blue cover. I think this one's sold out. I'll link it down below. They have a black one as well. It's got 120 GSM paper. It says it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to start. It's got the chartreuse looking notebook, the bookmarks, because that's one of my favorite colors. So yeah, I'm excited to use this notebook. For pens, for the setup, I am using a variety of Pitt Artist pens from extra small all the way up to the 1.5 tip and the brush tip. I don't know which ones I'm going to be using exactly, but I'll be pulling from these guys. And then markers-wise, I've got an assortment of Pitt Artist pen brush pens. I didn't grab any Tombos, mostly just because I wanted to use the grays, and I like their assortment of cold grays, as well as one kind of, if you look at this, kind of like an earthy green. I don't know if I'm going to use that one or not. I might just stick with the grays. But anyway, like I said, I haven't done this yet, so this is where we're starting. And then I have a Zig Clean Color dot pen in platinum, which is their gray color. I also have various things like rulers and whiteout, so on and so forth. I'm busting out my Notebook Therapy, a little calendar stamp, as well as the Prima Black Kohl, their chalk edger, which I don't think they sell anymore. But if they do, I will link it below. And the Notebook Therapy stamp is from a set of stamps. I got these last year. I haven't stamped in a while. We'll see how it goes. I've also got a stamp like pad to make the stamping a little less janky, and a cutting mat, a cutting tool. I did not grab any washi. I don't think I'm going to use any for this setup. I have some scissors in case I need them. You know, all the basic supplies. Get out of my way. And then for the theme, like I said, normally my patrons get to vote on my monthly theme. I pick several, I pick colors, and I do a doodle in there. They get to decide which one they vote every month. But for my yearly theme, I just picked it myself because I knew what I wanted. I want to draw some herbs, not like herbal refreshment. That would be fun. But no, that's not what I'm going to draw. It's just like, you know, culinary herbs, basil, lavender, sage, that sort of shit. And then, like I said, the colors are mostly grays because I just want this to be very neutral. And then the band that I am going to pull from in terms of quotes for this yearly setup is going to be my very first concert when I was 5 years old. And that would be Starship. Hell yeah. I guess I'll write my name. I never fucking write my name in shit, but I mean, I guess I do write my name in shit. But yeah, I'm going to write my name. I write my name, and then we will move on with my life because Just doesn't seem. Maybe I'll use my Fatty Boom Batty. Where is it? This one. I don't anticipate taking this out of my house. That's why this like whole return, if found return to thing. I mean, I have done that before and then left my bullet journal at Target, but I don't do that anymore. I learned my lesson. All right. So when you open up this first section of the Passion Notebook, you get this table of contents and this like blank page. And what I am going to do is glue those together because I don't give a shit about either of them. I wound up using up a whole bunch of my Tombow tape runner. RJ did a project for school and it was really cool. It was kind of like a job fair thing they were doing. He's in a health sciences class, like in terms of health careers. And so he was doing his on a pharmacist, which he found to be a very cool job. And so he was like, Mom, I need help. I need help making it look good. You know, like I wanted him to pick the colors. I wanted him to do all the work, but I would give him some tips because it's just not something he gravitates toward. And Kat and I were both like, well, you've got two people here who love being crafty. We utilized all my supplies and shit, and it came out very neat. He did, like I said, he did 99.9% of the work. The biggest thing that I did was help him print pictures out and gave him some tips, and I let him use some of my supplies. But I was very proud of him for that. All that being said, I had enough tape to do this, so cool. We're going to start this with just a big 2022 situation. I'm not going to put my word of the year or anything in here because I don't really reference this back again. This is mostly just for the fun, but what I want it to say is 2022 across. So the quote is going to be "Nothing's going to stop us now," which is the love theme from Mannequin, an 80s cheeseball 80s-ness, if ever I've seen one. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this yet. I'm just going to start by putting number... I hadn't even thought about what font I want to use. I'm looking at a font on letterheadfonts.com, which is one of my favorite places to go to try out new styles. It had the pointy edge for the twos, and while I think that can look really stylized in certain aspects, I really didn't like it, so I just went over it. And since I was going to plan on coloring this in black anyway, nah, no big deal. This is not black, though. This is cold gray. I was like, why? Why is it running out? Oh my God, am I going to have to double up on this page too? Is this black also running out though? This black feels a little bit like it's running out. I might need to go find another black. My goodness. I'm just going to toss this puppy. Remember I said I wasn't going to bust out a Tombow? I'm so full of lies right now. But this might be testing the integrity of 120 GSM paper. Still not bleeding through, even with like 3 different layers. Is this Tombow running out too? Jesus. So I did not say this in the beginning with supplies, but I am also going to use this Uniball Signo white gel pen. It's one of my absolute favorite gel pens. And is it kind of soaking into the black? I might need to use a paint pen. This might not be the business. So scratch that. Let me go grab a paint pen. Okay, so fun fact. When you use your paint pen for the first time since moving to a high altitude, it spooges everywhere. Thankfully, not on my sweater, because I'm wearing a black sweater right now. I might need to go over that again, but for now, we're just going to let it dry, and I've got to get rid of this spoogey, because I put it down twice more, and we've just got, like, entire fucking sperm banks worth of paint pen all over the place here. And I don't want to get that shit on my clothes. I should be wearing a smock. And I'm smearing everywhere already. This is already looking like a great situation. I'm going to just draw in a couple of herbs. Maybe this time it'll be kind of like rosemary. entirely even, but I'm not too worried about that. Super not even, but that's okay. Like I said, I'm never going to look at this page again. So I am going to go over this one more time to see if I can brighten this white up a little bit. I don't know how I'm feeling about it, but that's okay. I'm not worried too much. Not too worried. Next page is going to be the measurements page. It's not something that I use all the time, but when I do use it, I really need it. It's basically a page where you're putting in some of the more common measurements in your bullet journal so you can reference it rather than, counting over and over and over. And while I like working with thick pens, having a really super fine point is essential for pages like this. I'm using the extra small Pitt Artist pen at the moment. So I decided I needed a little bit more oomph, so I added a very light gray outline to both these herbs and then to the herbs, the sage and the thyme that I drew here on the bottom. I don't think my measurements came out exactly right, but I don't use this page super often, so I'm not that worried about it. But anyway, if you haven't done a measurements page before, you're basically writing out the numbers across the top and then the bottom of the number of squares, and then counting out your most used measurements. And so what I did was half, third, and quarter, both just the straight half, third, and quarter, and then also if you had one space in between. Measurement references. I'm going to do something I don't usually do, and that is an index. And the reason I'm doing an index is mainly because this bullet journal is only going to be used for brain dumps and notes, and so I'm going to want to reference them if I need to. Went with the same font as before, and we're just gonna attempt to make this look like white as opposed to, oh, well, if it comes out looking a little green, that's okay too, I suppose. And then I drew some chives. I'm not I like the flower on the chives. I don't know if they're actually recognizable as chives to me. Like, I'm used to the chives like kind of looking more like, just the part that you eat, and I don't the flower, but I really want to do an herb garden this year. I've said that before, but I really want to do gardening, or I swear I aspire to be a gardener. Maybe what I'll put here is, I didn't grab a quote for this one. I think we'll grab a lyric from Sarah. I'll never find another girl like you. Fucking love Starship. Don't look back at your drawn line. And because what I'm just going to do is draw a line here. I'm just going to draw a little arrow. Look, we've drawn the line. See, we've drawn the line. Oh my God. I think I've destroyed this extra small. I might need to grab another one. And that'll be my index. And so I'm going to leave these two blank. I'm not going to decorate or draw anything yet, because if I don't use it, then I don't want to put the effort in. But I guess what I can write in, and maybe I'm going to use I'm going to use my fucking Clenna, because I'm killing my extra small here. Measurement page is page 6, which seems silly to write on here because I'm looking at it, but whatever. I'm just going to put 7 through. That way, if I don't use it, I can use those pages for something else. Then moving forward, we're doing something that I was inspired to do by Shada Campbell. I think she did this a couple years ago. And what she did was she she also was doing botanicals, and she had like a little thing on one page where she drew in the doodle of every single flower that she did that year. Well, what I want to do is put in the little calendar for, so 3 on, like 6 on each page, 3, 3, 3, 3, and then leave space underneath to do a little flower doodle for that month's flower that I'm doing, or whatever botanical, and also write in the band that I am doing that month. So, voiceover Cindy here. The camera had stopped recording, and I didn't realize because I was sucked into stamping terribly and then eventually just gluing 2 pages together and starting over. I apologize you don't get to see the ridiculousness, but trust me when I say it was really fucking irritating. I have no idea when I stopped recording. Oh my god, I'm a hot mess today, you guys. Close enough. Close enough. Why am I not getting that one corner? Better. Oh, whatever. Whatever. Did it all for the nookie. Oh my god, this is so not straight, but fuck it. It's gonna be a triumph of my will over stamping. This does not look very clean, but my hope is that by the end of the year, should I follow through on using it, that I will have a beautiful spread of flowers and everything to make it look a little less janky. But that's okay. I'm gonna quickly throw on a drop shadow on each of these, because a drop shadow makes everything look slightly better. And then I'm gonna go in and just add all of my dates for the year, and that's it. And my quote for the page, which is gonna be, "We built this city on rock and roll," which I felt to be appropriate for this spread, since a lot of the bands that are my favorites are some form of rock, whether alternative rock or classic rock, pop rock, etc. Rock and roll! I had already talked about how janky I thought the months did, so I tried to clean it up by both adding on the drop shadow and doing the thing where I block out the days of each month that are not part of each month, and I think that really helped. I also added a little bit underneath here with the lightest gray to write the band in, and then plenty of room for the doodle. And then I just wrote, "We built this city on rock and roll." And I love now how this looks. I think once I add in the flower doodles every month, this is going to look pretty sick. I hope I keep up with it. We'll just put 12, 13 is... what do we call that? We call that yearly themes. We just won't worry about the fact that I've now glued 2 spreads of pages over. So this next section, I took a break to go to the bathroom because this is probably going to be one of the more ambitious things I've ever tried in a bullet journal. This is somewhat inspired by Plant-Based Brides. She's got the thing that she does where she does her weekly spreads and she kind of cuts them a little smaller, so it's like a book within a book. Well, I'm going to be doing something similar to that, but it's going to be to put in my 21 and 2021. So here's my thought process. What I'm going to do is have one side and then another side be just like an herby background on this page and this page, right? And then these 2 pages I'm going to cut smaller, like their own small book. And I am going to put on the 2022 and 2022. Did I say 21, 2021? 22 and 2022. Jesus fucking balls. Anyway, I'm going to fill these in. But what I wanted, like, on a later basis, because I'm actually going to have a video coming out where I talk about them more in a couple of days. But I want to get, this is going to be the only color in the bullet journal besides the gray in this opening setup. And that is going to be colors that will match the goals that they are wrapped up in with my Moxie life. I want to have one page with like a tab that sticks out on top, and one page with a tab that sticks out on the bottom so that I can color code which goals are on each side of each page. I didn't count anything out for this either. Holy shit. But I want a lot of this herb to show. Herb. So I'm counting 8 in from the top and 8 in from the bottom. I can't believe I'm doing something like this. This is just fucking banana pants. And then maybe I'll cut to here. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll do 6 in, I guess. And so we'll cut into for 6 for both of them, and then we will do the tabs. Let's just start with this. Let's start with this so that I don't completely lose my shit. I wonder if my little rolly cutter will be the best cutter for this. You know what would have been fucking marvelous? If I knew where my little rolly cutter was. So maybe I'll just do scissors. Maybe I'll do my bigger scissors. Can you tell here that I have my cutting tool out, but like part of me is just like, this is a lot of straight line cutting right now that I don't want to be super stressed out by. Okay. Okay. I will have to probably get the straight razor out to do the edge there. The edge like fucking Bono. And you too. Or not. I don't know. Because that doesn't fit, so it might not be the best idea. Maybe this is where the little scissors come in handy. I swear I've seen Elizabeth on Plant Based Bride do this shit multiple times, and I don't know how she does this part without it looking like super jank like that. Like how? I've watched her do it. Do I just not notice the jankiness? Because she doesn't call it out. She's not like, look at this like hot garbo. Or does she have like some magical like Canadian cottage fairy thing going on? And like, I don't know. Whatever. It's going to look good. The effect is going to be fabulous. Cindy, stop stressing out over bullshit that doesn't fucking matter all that much in the grand scheme of things. Is people dying, Kim? Jesus. Maybe she's just done it so many times that she's like fucking immune to it. Maybe she just tears them out. I mean, that worked as well as anything else. Now that those are done, so we have my 2 little pages here. I may have missed almost that entire rounding sequence, you guys. I haven't been keeping an eye on my camera, and I'm so sorry if you're missing all the jankiness, but trust me. Okay, so here we go. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to just put in the dots with the appropriate colors, and I'll fill in the 21 and 2021 later, but 22 and 22. Jesus fucking Hottentot Christ. But once I get this all done, I'm going to start on the herbs. I already screwed up. This should have said 22. So what I'll just put is 2022 bucket list because it's the same thing. Originally, I wasn't going to do 22 things because I didn't have 22 things to do. And then when I actually was like really working on it, I was like, oh wait, yes I do. So I was going to call it a bucket list, but then I wasn't. And now I'm just going to call it that because I fucked up. I wound up putting in a couple of herbs because there was just extra space. So on the front is one goal that's all my personal, like related pieces of this list. We can build this dream together. Again, from the same song I started the bullet journal with. Then I've got a little dill, sorta. I kind of lost interest in it about halfway through, with 3 more areas: the fun and recreation, work and learning, and family relationships. Then we got a little cilantro here with health, spiritual and personal development, and financial. And then on the back is all the home ones, because I've got a lot of those as well, with Standing Strong Forever, the second half of that line. So I love how this kind of came out looking, but now I need to do some drawings on the inside, and I'm already kind of annoyed with myself. But what I think I'm going to do is, rather than do line drawings, I'm going to just draw in some stems here Like, so this one could be basil, right? And then I'm just going to draw the kind of scraggly basil leaves. And I'm just going to make them very loose because I'm lazy. But you see how, like, that's the idea here. For this side, I've got some, these are very loose. It's like a lavender sorta, basil, mint, sage, and like chives, probably non-flowering chives. I'm gonna put in the white here and let that dry right quick. Maybe on top of the artist pen is better than on top of the Tombow. Kind of spattered, but that's okay. And then for this side, we've got some more basil, some rosemary, some thyme, echinacea, and a little bit more sage because I just needed to draw something to go back there. But I actually really like how this turned out. I think that doing them in the gray actually works well because it makes the rest of this pop off the page. But now that I'm done with that, I am actually going to flip through and let's see where I'm at. So we have the first glued together page, and then we have my 2022 situation, which I like a lot more than I'm looking at it a second time. Still very not centered, but whatevs. Measurement page, index, plus a couple more index pages, another glued together page. Then we have my theme map out for the year, and then my 2022 bucket list, which I will put in my index. January will start on page 20. And that will be coming soon. I still need to do it. I actually need to go, and I already had started putting in like pencil marks for a few things for January, but since I glued together pages, I have to fix that. Good times. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I feel like it was a little all over the place, but honestly, like, I like how it turned out, and I'm excited to get into the new year. I'm excited to use my bullet journal for brain dumping and for note-taking. And I am hoping to keep the whole year in this one notebook. So we'll see how it all goes. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you're doing a bullet journal this next year. What are you using it for? Is it your only planner, or are you using it for something but using other stuff as well? And if you're not using a bullet journal, what are you using? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, my friends, peace.